What's going on, everybody? It's Matt, aka the Lumberjack Landlord. Super excited to be here with you, albeit late on Sunday. Whew. Sometimes you got a landlord, and that's what happened there. Reached out to the property manager. He was away, and so not able to go take care of a lockout. So I had to go over there and take care of a lockout. And you guessed it, it was somebody that just wasn't willing to change their batteries. Freaking hell. So there's no way to get in at that point. You got to drill it out. So those locks that I recommended, that I had to drill out the centerpiece. I had to drill out the studs so I could then get the other side to pop off. Holy cow. That was a nightmare. That took me, I did a short right when we were leaving the house to go do that. And so that took me right around 40 minutes. Oh, I won't tell my crew how long that took. That's embarrassing. Yeah, it took 40 minutes to get that thing out. Man, that thing was hard, and I definitely dented my metal door. But anyway, is what it is. C'est la vie. Such is landlording. Hope you guys are doing absolutely fantastic. Hope you guys had a great week. I literally just had to chug one of these things, so apologize in advance for the burping. But holy cow, what a crazy week. I expect to announce my biggest deal ever this week. I'm very, very excited. It's been a long time coming. And not the deal itself, but a deal like it. It's been a long time coming, but I'm super excited to share that news with you guys. But what I really wanted to start off and talk about today is, did you check out the live stream that we did yesterday? We had problems with the mics, so I'm going to work on that. Some of the technical difficulties. We're going to try and do more stuff in the field as we have so many projects going on. Yeah, so that's what the plan is going to be. Hopefully yesterday was a good live stream and you guys learned something from that. But one of the areas that I really wanted to touch today was, where can you get better at real estate investment? I think very often people think that they have everything to learn. And while you might have a lot to learn, there's things naturally that your skill set might fit well with. You might be a great operator. You might be somebody that's really good at managing books. You might be somebody that's really good with your hands. All of those different things. What you do in the beginning is you do everything in the beginning. And that is so you know the job. And then after you know the job, the next step is, okay, what are the jobs that I'm good at and that I enjoy? Sometimes they're not the same thing. Most of the times they are, right? When you're really good at something, who doesn't like doing it? That's what I always tell my wife. And so the cool thing about that is that in the beginning, you're doing everything, or what you do sub out, what you do, basically have somebody else cover. You need to understand what they're doing, why they're doing it, the way they're doing it. That's how you become operationally efficient and understand operationally how your business needs to be managed. Those are the critical elements to being a self-management landlord. Quite frankly, those are the critical elements that I bet right now they say 40% of landlords have it for property managed for them. I would tell you that of those 40%, I would say it's because half of them are probably scared to do the things that need to be done on their own. We teach management at afar. We teach all of the skills, processes, and efficiencies that you need to have in place in the Lumberjack Landlord course. So you either know that your property manager is ripping you off, because they're ripping you off in some way, shape, or form, but you can then know that they're ripping you off, number one, or number two, make sure of the things that you should be taking off of their plate, because for some reason their cost model doesn't work for you. I saw one cost model that was, they take the first month's rent and then they take 8% moving thereafter. What the hell? What money's left? Literally, like, what money's left? Tell me all the amazing deals that people are doing out there where there's money left after that. They take the first month's rent, and on top of that, they take 8%. That's garbage. That's absolute hot garbage. So I just really want to protect people that are going out there. I mean, guys, listen, I understand that $1,000 is a lot of money, but it is a pittance compared to what you're going to spend on a property manager that's not doing things the right way. It's a pittance. It's a rounding error. If you're in this journey for 3 months, okay, maybe $1,000 is too much. I get it. If you're thinking about holding property for any amount of time, certainly when we're talking about years, $1,000 is a rounding error. It's a rounding error. It just is. That's why I priced it at what I priced it at. I was an idiot. I hired some consultants, had them give me some feedback. And they said, yeah, you know what? Quite frankly, your course should be between 5 and 10K. I'm like, I'm not selling it for that. That's ridiculous. I want everybody, I would much rather have 5 times as many students than a 5th as many students, and the only ones that can afford that expensive of a course. It's $1,000. I made it that because it's a rounding error. For another $500, which is going to go to 1,000, you can get in the boot camp. You can be with like-minded individuals. I'm so proud of the first class. They did exactly, the first boot camp did exactly what I hoped they would. They created relationships within the group. Now they're meeting on their own. I'm going to sneak up on them. I'm going to sneak into a meeting. You know, glasses, big nose. The mustache isn't going to help me. I'm going to sneak probably without a hat. As soon as I take my hat off, they won't know who I am. But I'm going to sneak into one of those meetings. I want to see them continue to progress. I want to see them continue to grow in their journey. I want to see them continue to get elite, get better. And obviously you got to get better in order to get elite. But be honest with yourself. Look at the job. Look and understand what I'm, as you continue to develop skills, there's going to be things that you're like, wow, I didn't really know I liked that, but I actually really like that. I really like that. That's a lot of fun. This part of it, this element, maybe it's showing the units, maybe it's being able to smooth over issues. Maybe it's the fact of posting, that you get really good at posting and your ads are just electric because you took my course, but your ads are electric. And so you see these amazing, guys, we are, for an ad that we put pending, we're getting 30 inquiries a day for an ad that we put pending. So be honest with yourselves. Where can you get better at REI? I would propose that you probably have no idea where you can get better because you have no idea how good or bad you are in these other different areas. One of the things my course teaches, it lets you dial in and get right with yourself to say, wow, I didn't know any of that. Or, you know what? I knew like 80% of that. I'm actually pretty far along in that area. Here's some other areas where I'm not. Strategies, how to post your ads. Look at the syllabus, the videos on the website. I would just encourage you. We had kids, or I won't say kids. I had to kind of say kids. They're young, in their 20s. We had kids that have purchased the course and they're taking the course and they don't even have a rental unit yet. And I asked them, I said, why'd you do that? They said, because I believe spending $1,000 now will save me tens of thousands of dollars later, even as I'm looking for my deals. They couldn't be more right. They absolutely could not be more right. I took a picture. If you guys saw my Instagram yesterday, I took a picture of an open house. It's all these people walking around the house. Do you think that any of them have taken a real estate investment course? It instantly makes you a better buyer, whether you're buying your personal home or investing. A lot of the stuff that I talk about is maintenance and how to maintain things and what to look for in systems and how to understand if a system needs replacing. You ever buy a home? You're going to kind of need to know all that stuff. Just saying. And again, your inspection is going to cost you more than what my course costs. So it just is what it is. I want to provide value to you guys. I know there's a bunch of people out there that absolutely crushed it. I'm so excited for your journey. I got to spend more time with REI yesterday, Landlord Odyssey. Got to spend 2 hours with him and my agent Emma. Emma, thank you so much for coming out and being the I guess moderator and film crew. So she was fantastic. It was great to have her. And Redion was great. He was a student in the class. He's like, every single time I listen to one of these things or I do one of these things, I learn more. He's a sponge. There's no doubt in my mind that guy has literally dozens of units in his future, and he will be financially free with real estate. No doubt in my mind. Just no doubt. So I would encourage you, go look at the syllabus, go through it, be honest with yourselves, recognize where you might be able to grow. And I'm telling you, I think that riches are in the niches. And even if you just get masterfully good at one thing, just one thing where you're masterfully good at it. Maybe it's on the acquisition side. Maybe it's on the inspection side. Maybe it's on the maintenance side. It could be anywhere in the continuum, right? Then you learn how to monetize that. You learn what things need to be outsourced and what things you need to manage because it's your business and you want to crush it. So that's all I really had to say about that. But again, look up the course, look up the syllabus. We're going to be doubling the price of the boot camp. Not right now, but it's going to happen in the next, I don't want to give you a time frame because I'm not sure exactly, but it's going to happen. We are going to double the price of the boot camp. The cost of the boot camp for me is it was a couple of hours. I said 1 hour. We usually went 2. But the editing, going through all of our videos, and then each of those were 2 to 3 hours, and then bookmarking every single video so it's consumable for the people and for guys in the future that were in that boot camp and want to go back and look at some topic that was discussed. It's all there. It's all there. Yeah, so I would encourage you guys to take a look at that. And again, just be honest with yourself. How can you get better at REI? I guarantee there's ways. I guarantee there's ways. And a really good way to assess yourself is in a course where you're learning and watching, easy for me to say, and then getting feedback from peers that are also in the course. This course is it's a bunch of dynamic people. It really is. And they're, for the most part, they're buy and hold self-management landlords. And a lot of them own stuff that's not close by, but they were getting bled dry. We had one student that was absolutely getting crushed. $6,000 a month is what they're now saving because they took the course. $6,000 a month. Should have worked out a percentage of revenue. Just kidding. That's not the point. The point is I want to put value out there in the marketplace. People are getting value. That's what I love. That's what I love. That's what I love. All right. So let's jump this thing off. Hey, Key, good to see you, my friend. Good to see you. Dividend Day. What's up, bro? Good to see you. Richard Gamino, good to see you. Invest to Wealth. Afternoon. Laura, good afternoon. Key. Hey, guys. Good. Corby. Hey, Corby. Richard Gamino, was just watching your yesterday's live again. Great info. Thanks. Oh, you're welcome, Richard. Yeah, there's a ton of it. I mean, guys, there's so much in there. And this is what we'll do. So one of the things that we're doing in the course, it's actually launching in August. Oh, you know what? I'll just premiere that here. Yeah, I'll premiere that here. We are launching the next boot camp sometime in the beginning of August, I believe. End of July, beginning of August. We're launching the boot camp. Not in the boot camp, but in the course, in the actual course, not just the boot camp. We actually have speakers. I have an underwriter. No one likes underwriters. No one does. And when you find out someone's an underwriter at a party, you instantly get terse with them and you walk away because underwriters only kill deals. We actually have an underwriter that's willing to go on camera and answer your questions. A bank underwriter, a deal underwriter. They're going to tell you the secrets. They're going to say, hey, you do that. That's a red flag. Hey, you do this, red flag. Hey, if you're going to say that, say it this way. I mean, anybody else here talk to underwriters? Exactly. They don't give you access. They don't give you access for a reason. We're going to have an underwriter. My banker, Tina P., after much begging, has finally acquiesced because her customer service and the level by which she cares about my business is almost to the level that I do. She is spectacular. She will show you everything that you need to know about how to pick the right banker, the conversations to be having with your banker, and how she sees the most successful businesses growing. All going to be in the course. That's not even boot camp. That's just the course. Just the course. We're going to have those 2 speakers. A third speaker where we're trying to figure out if we're going to be able to do it in outside of the boot camp is an attorney that was sued and her LLC was in the process of being pierced. Kid you not. Couldn't make this stuff up. I'm almost positive she's going to be boot camp only. We also have an electrician who will actually, he's a master electrician. He's been my electrician for years. He's going to be in the boot camp. I'm going to get him to present to the course where he just answers people's questions. But we just did a project that list price on that project was probably going to be about $10,000 or $11,000 in material, in just material. And this was no wiring. This was just panels and breakers. Panels and breakers and shutoffs. About 10 or 11,000 bucks. I think material all in, we are at 4 or 5. He'll show you how we did it. Because we got together, we had a conversation, and he wasn't going to have an outlay of cash. So again, that Chris, the electrician, will be in the main course. That will be a show that we'll do in the main course. And because we don't have hundreds of students, we'll be able to do a Zoom. We will do more members only stuff. But the members only, again, we're going to try and make those interviews that are things that I want you to hear that people can't say on the internet. They just can't say it. It's got to be behind closed doors. We want to do that for you guys, because that's what's helped make my business become elite. Invest to wealth. You charge the tenant, they'll get a bill. Yep. Laura Semenigo, the live stream yesterday was awesome. Thanks so much, Laura. Thanks. I appreciate that. I'm glad. Where to invest? California Bay Area. No, ever. Brett Bisboer. Hey, good morning, Brett. Buzz time. Good morning, Corby. What's up, Kay? That's awesome. Clint, at least the tenant knows they're behind a darn good lock. Yeah, that they newly paid for. Well done, Clint. Well done. Clint, another boot camper. Perfect segue, my friend, into that. Yep, they're going to pay. And holy cow. Oh my word. I was literally, oh my goodness. I don't want to paint a nasty picture, but I was lumberjack leaking. Oh, it was awful. I guzzled water all the way home, and now I'm having a Raska. Yeah, people still drink that. Corby Carter. So during the next meeting, everyone is thinking, man, this handsome stranger is really knowledgeable, almost like Matt. I wonder how he got the invite this week. Good job. Good job, Corby. Let's see. Walk through your construction 7/8/23. Okay. Oh yeah, yesterday. Yep. This is exactly what I'm about to do in an Idaho duplex. Druggies destroyed. Yep. We'll review that. Your classes boot camp is. Thank you, sir. Yeah. Look up. Yeah. That's the thing. That boot camp is going to be worth its weight in gold for you. What we do in the boot camp, so you guys know, is every week there's a module that we cover. The only purpose is to answer, or not the only purpose, is to answer the questions that you have on that module. Quite frankly, a lot of people get done with the module and they're like, no, I don't really have any questions. Or there might be 2 or 3 that we handle in like the first 20 minutes. Then after that, I want to hear about what you're dealing with. We get to talk about what you're dealing with and share it with the group. You get to hear other people's stories, what they're dealing with their investments. I called it boot camp for a reason, You guys go through, people that know that have been in the military, you go through basic with each other, and that a lot of times that's a lifelong bond, And so I wanted to create that lifelong bond where there's accountability partners. You guys become interested in each other's businesses. You guys might even do business together. There's stuff around the country, right? There were like 17 or 18 markets represented in just the last boot camp alone. I'm telling you, it's worth its weight in gold. The amount of connections that are created there is just absolutely awesome. But those boot camps, again, first 10, 15, 20, 25 minutes, maybe we cover the course. We can cover it if there's more questions about it. But a majority of what we cover, is people's current projects or current problems they're dealing with. Robert Farinelli did a great job. He was walking. He literally had an issue. And you know what he did? He joined a live stream. Hold on one second. People always working. I love it. He joined the live stream from his phone and asked questions while he was in his basement. Now, while I love the fact that he thought, hey, let's do this. Love it. I wasn't pissed. I wasn't like, that needs to be one-on-one consulting. No, the whole group could learn. So I wanted to hear what he was going through. He said I saved him about $10,000 with that one conversation. 10 grand. Guys, get in a boot camp, get in the course, get in the boot camp. you know, get elite or don't. Yes. Sorry. Have to make sure to, was trying to catch him before he went home. But I didn't. C'est la vie. All right. BuzzTune yesterday and today. Yep. Thought you wouldn't do a live stream today. Ecstatic. Damn. Steam engine value producer, Matt. Yeah. Yeah. Thank you. No, I had every intent of doing it. And that's literally what I thought. I was like, oh, I wonder if people think I'm not going to do a live stream today. Nah, I double up. This is the time that we're doing this until it's not the time that we're doing this anymore. And I'll still do it once a week. Because I want people to be able to ask questions. If they're not in the course, I still want people to be able to ask questions. It's just the course speeds everything up and it gets a focus for you. It's 9 hours. It's extremely compact on 30 different things that I teach. That's the value there. BF, hey, happy Lumberjack Sunday. I appreciate that, BF. Same to you. Dividend Dave, going to check out $10 million house and use my car change to buy it. Lumberjack taught me that anything is possible. I did not teach you that, Dave. I literally had a conversation on a $25 million property this week. That's not the one that I'm closing on either. Thank you for reading the content you provide, the bootcamp content you provide. Thank you very much. Oh, you're very welcome. HCH, Ari, your walkthrough July 8th. Didn't hear exactly how you cut the pet door in upper room. Please explain again. Oh, pet odor. Sorry, door. I read too fast. The pet odor. Oh, that was on that lower unit. So, we haven't done it yet, but what we will do is, we use hydrogen peroxide and baking soda. We just we soak the floor with hydrogen peroxide that soaks into the wood that will pull it basically literally crystallizes the ammonia, in the cat urine, pulls up to the surface. And the baking soda will soak it up. And we've had one apartment that we did 20 times. Now it'll eat through your polyurethane. It'll eat through all that stuff. That's fine. No big deal. We get all that stuff brought up. Boom. That's done. And then we make sure that we're good. And then we seal it. And then we poly. And then we're done. Good. And it never smells again. Okay, I'll text him later. Let's see. So that's how we get that's HCH. That's how we get the powder. That's how we get the smell out. I've done it a bunch of times. Like I said, we've treated one floor 20 times, but it worked. Never smelled again. Matt Bittner, I love it. Direct question. What was costing your student $6,000 per month? How did you save them $6,000 per month? They were able to fire their property manager. With what they learned in the course, they were able to get rid of their property manager. They were able to implement a property management system. And yes, they're spending a little bit more time now, but it's saving them $6,000 a month. And their business is running far smoother. Rent increases. That number was off the top. That wasn't even counting the rent increases that he's now getting and everything else. He's crushing it. Absolutely crushing it. But yeah, $6,000 a month. Yep. And that doesn't include doing any kitchens yet. And we're live now with kitchens. If you can only get access to the kitchens, in the boot camp. Can't get access to them in the course, just the course. Nazik Huck, I hope I have that right. Not sure if you'd mentioned some time ago what you didn't like about the deals in Manchester and why. I hate the market. I don't like that market. That market is the first one to start falling. It's the last one to come back. It's raging right now. It's like one of the top 10. It's in the top 10 in the country. Manchester is. and it will fall apart because it always does. There's an airport there that there's, some discussion of getting bigger, or people literally dropping flights there. If you're within 10 minutes or 15 minutes of a pretty big airport that can get you pretty much anywhere in the country, that's a pretty big perk. But that area is mostly blue collar, and it's blue collar or retail. So when a recession happens, they get hit hard. They get hit really hard. Or construction. Yeah. Yep. That's kind of the three biggest are what's there. And so, that's what I went through in the 07, 08. I've seen two of my friends set records. My buddy Rich Racine set a record in Manch. And another good friend of mine set a record in Manch for something that they sold. And particularly for me, I just don't love the market. I don't love the market. Don't love it. So I won't ever go back to Manch. I won't ever invest there again. The city, very, very anti-business. They have dozens of building inspectors, which is absurd based on having a town of, 115,000, or a city of 115,000 people. The city has a lot of programs. Don't love that, because the people have to pay for those programs. They ain't free. Just not a fan of that. Not a fan at all. Lumberjack, if you ever want to partner up on a property, let me know. I have cash to invest. BF, I really appreciate that. And just so you guys know, that really is an honor. I've been offered to run syndications, not my thing. I won't even partner on deals. I'm just broken. I only will do it my way because of all the experience that I have. And at the end of the day, if I'm going to lose money, I want it to be because I made a bad decision. And I've certainly lost money before. Doing a project and just saying, the return really wasn't there. I shouldn't have done that project. I was getting a 5% return. That was stupid. But BF, I'm honored, always honored, always appreciate people thinking highly enough of me to invest their money with me. That's one of the things that I feel about the course. I always feel honored when people buy the course. I really feel like I bring a lot of value, but I'm always honored that people think that I bring a lot of value. So that means a lot to me. SK, to buy single family rentals beyond 10 rentals, the loans presented to me are only commercial loans, which incur 1.5 to 2 points, and rates are up 9% today. Is there a better alternative? Yes, SK, there is. You need to be doing what I talk about in my video where I made a product with my bank. Yeah, if you're over 10 already, that's the type of stuff, that's certainly stuff that in the boot camp we talk about, because not everybody's at 10, but they're, more people have a number of units, and they're looking at, hey, when I get to 10, what's my jump? Because you got to be thinking at 7 or 8, what do I do when I get to 10? I just got quoted because I made a product with my bank. I just got quoted 7.14 for an investment property on Thursday. Yeah, Thursday. I think it's Thursday. Yeah, Thursday. Yep. Yeah, 7.14. So you could go DSCR and you're probably in the 9s. And I was also no points. 0 points. 7.14. Now, where does that come from? Relationship, like we teach in the course. The banker and the underwriter that gave me that 7.14, guess what? They're going to be in the course. That's who I'm talking about. It's that bank. Those are the types of strategies that we talk a lot about, because that's a hour-long conversation, but the long story short is I had a bank make a product for me. It wasn't when I had over 100 units. I was smaller than that. And I had to be able to pitch and position it like it was a value to them. And quite frankly, it is a value to them. But that's what I did. And that's why, I was way below. So BF 7.14. No, it's a 30-year fixed, not a jumbo. but it's 7.14 30-year fixed. Clint LeClaire, boot camp, ER pro tip, get your forms and binder done before you do the advertisement, because the applicants come faster than comfortable once you go live. So true. So true. Absolutely true. Yep. Absolutely true. Yep. That's the thing, is people don't realize how good that ad is. When I write an ad, I'm still getting 30 inquiries a day on an ad that we put pending. And they're like, hey, if it falls through, let us know. 30 people a day. Hey, if it falls apart, let us know. We just had to tell 6 people no on one unit. And we're like, hey, but by the way, we have another one coming. And they're like, oh, really? We're probably going to rent it out without even having to show it. That's how awesome it is. So yeah, but yeah, getting all that stuff in order, having all the processes in order, having all your forms in order, having things set up in like DocuSign. When my agent says, hey, so there's a bunch of applications sitting in the email box, we go, we look at them. We're like, okay, this is the best one based on the data that we're seeing. And we get back to her with an answer that day, and she lets them know, hey, congratulations, you got the unit. And if you want it, here's what the process is. He'll send you a copy of the lease electronically. And then if that's agreeable, you'd pay deposit and rent, and you're signed and you're good to go. And you guys can agree on what date you want to move in. We showed a property on what day did we show that? If Emma, if you're watching, what day did we show 1D? I think we did 1D. I think you showed it on, I want to say you showed it like the day before the 4th, or maybe even the 4th, but she showed it the day before the 4th or the 4th. He moved in Saturday. He's like, yeah, I'm in temporary housing right now. He had the income. He had no evictions on his record. I mean, great credit score over 800. I hope I don't regret it. His credit score was 802. Oh, thankfully his roommate only had a 700, but we'll see. Emma Gal did a great job on camera flow. Yeah, I thought she did great. I mean, granted, I also have expensive equipment that I bought. I bought an expensive, what's called a gimbal. And so I did pay up, and get something nice, because I didn't want you guys having to do this and getting motion sickness. But yeah, she did a great job. We'll invite her back. SK, capital recycling allowed me to buy more rentals. Yep. With interest rates high now, am I unable to pull out capital? How do you recommend raise capital for down payment? Great question. So that therein lies the challenge. That's what naturally slows the market, right? So, and I don't say this, SK, to taunt you or to give you a hard time. The position that I'm in, right, as your competition in the same market, I was waiting for this to happen so you wouldn't be able to be as effective, because now you can't get money. So I pulled out a bunch of my money. I recycled all my capital, but I had more assets to pull the capital from. That's where I got crushed in 08 and 09. I was on the other side. I couldn't buy anything. The stuff, except the market was down, so I couldn't even get my cash out. Forget about that. Forget about the rate just being too much and it not cash flowing. One of the things that you can do, and this is where you don't get married to a deal. If you have a deal that has a lot of equity, I have a deal that has a ton of equity in it. I'm selling it. And I love the property. I love it, but it's got hundreds of thousands of dollars in equity I can't tap into. And what do I know about that hundreds of thousands of dollars? I know that I can turn that 2 or 250K into another $1 million worth of real estate. And that one piece of, that one asset, I can't really lever that with any reasonably priced debt or debt that doesn't reset. So I'm better off saying, hey, love you, mean it. You've been a great asset. Love you, but I got to let you go because I got to tap into all that equity. I got to get all that equity. That's how I'm doing it. Is I'm selling 2 assets. I have 2 assets that I'm absolutely going to sell. And then one I will likely refi. And that will, between those 3 assets, will probably create about about $1 million in cash. And then what does that do? That gets me at least another $3 million worth of real estate. So I would, when you're newer in the game, that's the tougher part. It's getting that next down payment. Now you can do the seller financing thing. Yeah, we've all heard about it. You can borrow hard money. Yeah, we've all heard about that. Now with interest rates being what they are, you can look out there and see if, somebody wants to do promissory notes with you for, 7 or 8%, but it's going to be kind of tough when they can get, 5 or 5.25 or 5.5 in some of these interest bearing accounts. And those accounts are liquid. Or far more liquid than, giving it to someone to invest. So that's what I would tell you is I start looking at assets that I say I can 1031 out of this asset and I can turn it into that much more capital because I can't access that money. The other thing you can do too is I don't think that most of the investment property HELOCs that are out there, they're available, but they used to be 90% and they're not 90% anymore. They're down around 75, 80%. And quite frankly, you might have 25% equity in your property. What does that mean you're going to pull? Nothing. Yeah. BF, is there a prepaid penalty on the loan? Only asking because we know rates will go back down. Nope. No prepayment. Nope. No prepay. Not a pinata. Not a pinata. No prepayment. Matt Bittner, how long does it take to fill a Section 8 rental vacancy? Ugh. If the unit has never been in the program, and it's a new tenant to you, inspections, bloody, it's usually about 4 to 6 weeks, at least. If it's a unit that's been in the program before, it's usually 30 days because they have to give notice where they were. Yep. So it's usually, I would say it's usually 4 to 6 weeks. It can be 8 weeks on an outlier. You can get lucky and hit a specific situation and get it less, but it's usually not. It's usually 4 to 6 weeks, which is kind of what another thing I don't like about Section 8 is that often when I'm finding a market tenant, they weren't renewing where they were. They are month to month, or they've already given their notice and said, I'm just going to find something, this month I have to. And we still see income statements. We still see rent coming out and being paid on time. That was one of the things that was our showstopper for us during the pandemic. Was we had to see that they had their money coming out of their account going to a landlord. Now, could they lie? Sure. But, if you see it coming out every single month for that exact amount, what's the likelihood, and so we would actually get confirmation of that because I believe bank statements way more than I believe the lying lips of a landlord. There's too many landlords out there that have no problem dumping a hot mess in your lap, which is kind of a jerk thing to do. Let's see. Robert Finelli, there he is. Hi, Matt. Was busy rehabbing, so I forgot about the stream. All good. I was fixing a door lock. I didn't forget about the stream. I was just late. Landlord's Odyssey. What's up, Redion? Good to hang out with you yesterday. We then went and had barbecue afterwards. It was good. Redion was I think he was kind of laughing at me on the inside because I got a salad. It's a salad, sort of, but it's a really good salad. It's spectacular. Robert Fairley, looking at type C drywall, was told that the 5/8, gives a 2-hour fire rating, better soundproofing. Ever heard of this? So the 5/8 on the ceilings, the 5/8 you have to double now. You need a 2-hour burn rating. So on the ceilings, it's now double 5/8. They do make other fire retardant sheetrock. It's more expensive to put that up or use the channels that they can make you use. It's more expensive. So I just did that on one of my jobs. He said doing the extra layer of the 5/8 costs you $1,500, doing it with the different sheetrock and the channels they make you put it on. He goes, that's going to cost you about $2,500. So it was $1,000, $1,500 difference. I think it was 15 to 25 or 15 to 3. But that $1,500 difference or $1,000 to $1,500 difference I'm good friends with the owner of the company. So that's why I just had the conversation. I was like, which way would you go? He goes 5/8 all the way. He goes, my guys don't complain about hanging it. And he goes, the other stuff is more difficult. It's heavier. So they're slower. So they want to charge more. He goes, you're better off because on the 5/8, you put up the first layer and you don't mud and tape it. You just put up the first layer and then you put up the second layer. So you're only still finishing one layer. Part of putting together a floating probably floor where the joists are going the opposite way of the rest of the long way of the room. Bring down the ceiling and putting 2 9x. 2 9 1/4. Yeah, 12. So support idea, good or not. I always like sistering joists. I just do. If you have the ceiling open, if you've got the space open, if it's in the basement, even sister the joist. It's absolutely worth its weight in gold. It just is. I'm a big guy. I'm, almost 6'1", like 265 pounds. I'm a big guy. And so, not the 6'1" part. But I jump up and down on my floors in these balloon frame houses. And if I feel the floor move by code, it can flex up to 1.5 inches. Do you think that tenants are going to love that? Do you think that you're not going to be repairing that sheetrock on the top of that ceiling a ton in the time over time when you have that level of deflection? Nah, of course you are. So I'll just sister a few and I'll get that bounce out. We had one where we put 2 in and we still had a bounce. And we put 3 in, we still had a bounce. We put 4 in and we got rid of the bounce. There was no bounce in that. And so what we did was we alternated every other. And then we just and these were 7 1/4, but it was a longer span. I want to say it was like maybe 16 feet, maybe. I think it was like 16 feet. So I just love sistering the joist. That's the way to go. But it's what I've always done. Then we put a joist hanger at the end. So certainly we, sister everything into each other. But there's a special nailing pattern or screwing pattern that you can do with the LVLs. But then there's also the joist hangers that you can put at the end too. It's never going to move again. It's never going to move. If anybody ever decides to redo that house in 50 years, they'll be impressed with what they see. Now, that project probably cost me $1,000, but man, it's good. It's just the quality of product is just awesome. Let's see. Jan Vostrikov. Hey, Jan, bought your course yesterday. Yes, I saw. Thank you very much. I'm excited to have you in the course. Now you just have to buy your property next. Hey, the good news is dig deep. You got 9 hours of information there, 18 if you watch it twice, and you'll be a better buyer. It'll make you a better buyer. There's just no doubt in my mind. My question was, what do you do when you close on a property? How are all the bank info, et cetera, transferred to you? What does that process look like? Well, that's a great question, Jan. So basically what happens is at the closing table, they're going to tell you your first payment due date is this date. You can set up in your bank to have it auto drafted on a specific date. That's what we do because we don't want to waste our time with having to go in and pay the mortgage. We have it auto draft. So that's what we do. We set it up for auto draft off that account. As far as, and so that's the banking information, right? Is that we sign an auto draft document where we say, this is the account that we want you to take it out of. We don't say this is the amount unless it's over what our payment is. We usually just say whatever the payment is. The reason that we do that is for some reason, if like the escrow adjustment, blah, 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 they have to report escrow adjustment. Let's say your payment goes up $50, but then it said, well, you're only said to approve 2,400 and it's 2,450 now. I don't want it to go through and re-sign it. So I just do whatever the payment is. And then I just watch that payment coming out because it shows up in my account and it says this account, this is being taken out on this day. So I know it's being taken out on that day. As far as other banking information, let me know if I missed something, because that's the crux of it, right? Is you have your money in an account, you're going to have to make the payment on that mortgage. I have it auto draft off because all of my mortgages auto draft off. And then I just go through as a checklist and go paid, 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 paid. You can also set up then emails usually with that bank that then kicks it off and says, hey, your payment was taken out on this date for this amount. Thank you very much. Then you know it was taken out and you know you're good. The other thing that you get too is that if for some reason there was a problem, maybe it was insufficient funds, there wasn't enough money there. On the 15th, most banks will then notify you and say, hey, you now have a late fee. So I call in, and I've had it happen to me before. Called in. I was like, why was the money not taken out? And they're like, well, you had your new payment. Your new payment was $75 higher, but you didn't have $75 more in that account because it was one bank that I have one loan in. I'm like, you gotta be kidding me. But it's true. And so that's how it works. Let me know if I hit that point for you, Jan. I'm happy to go more into it. Landlord Odyssey. I absolutely love meeting the Lumberjack and doing property walkthroughs. Thanks, Redion. The feeling was mutual. We had a good time. I enjoyed it. And yes, our boot camp will do some sort of a meetup. I just got to get, life just has to settle down just a little bit. Let's see. Sean Conley. Did you say when you screen tenants, you asked to verify they paid their rent to their previous landlord by asking for their bank statement? I asked them to show it to me, and that can be via Venmo, via PayPal, and I do 3 months back. Yep. I want to know that they're leaving with having paid. Yep. Yep. And surprise, surprise, that disqualifies some people. They're like, oh, I just couldn't get my bank account statement. Bull. Come on. Every person on the planet can get their bank account statement on their phone, except for maybe Jerry Seinfeld's grandmother. Because that chemical bank closed. Hey, Andrew Wilkins. Good to see you. It's been a while. Good to have you back. Trucking a ton, I'm sure. Let's see. Look up. Went to the planning department. Yep. He said I can have a triplex on this property. Ooh. He quit planning department. New guy says I cannot have a triplex. Can I get zoned for a triplex? Is it worth it to have a triplex in said property? Yeah. You just need to understand. This is all part of the learning though, right? So that's going to be a process. I would absolutely be going down that path to understand what the rules are. The new guy might not know what the hell he's talking about. The other guy was in the planning department. So if the new guy says, so if the old guy, right? The old guy says you can absolutely have a triplex there. Just ask him, can you show me in zoning or code just where that is? They'll know. They'll know. In fact, interestingly enough, guess where I'm going tomorrow? I'm having that exact conversation tomorrow. I'm going to go sit in the city planner's office and I have a question for her. Yep. Swear. Even I do it. Yep. I'll go right down and I'll just say, what are you going to let me do in this property? How much flexibility do I have? What do I have to get? Variances are tough. In many towns, when you have to try and get a variance approved, in many cases, you have to prove a hardship. That's hard. That's hard. That's hard to do. And it's not something as simple as, I just want to add another unit. That's not a hardship. Look at what the burden to get something like that approved is. It can be pretty hard. It can be pretty hard. Now, if it's something that aligns with the city charter, if it's something that aligns with city, councilmen and things like that, that's one of the things we're trying to do is we're talking to the city saying, hey, we'd like to do something above and beyond. We don't mind spending the extra money. We're not asking the city for any, special treatment. All we're asking for is this something that planning would approve? Does it fit the overall charter? We believe that it does. And if it does, then that's why cities have stated charters where you can then have a strategy where it falls into that charter. That's one of the ways around it. And that is amazing information. Robert Farinelli, the problem I was told was the joists are going the wrong way, long way. Yep. Which is why I was told to use LVLs to go the same way as the others. Yeah, I would absolutely use LVLs going the same way. I would not add another layer underneath it and have them going the opposite way. Absolutely not. And what you can do is, so technically, I think a 7.25, I want to say a 7.25, depending on what the load is, because they'll ask you. So when you go to get an LVL priced, you can go to a lumberyard, you can go to Home Depot, whatever. You have to tell them the square footage of the house. You have to tell them how many levels are on top of that level that you're replacing something. And they'll do something called a load calculation. Based on that load calculation, they'll say, oh, you actually need 12-inch LVLs. Yeah, well, I can't have a 12-inch LVL when I have a 7-inch joist in the ceiling. Can't have a 12 coming down into the room. That's kind of stupid. So what you do at that point is you say, what if instead of running 112, or sometimes they'll say doubling up and doing 2 12s, what you have them do is figure out, I've got 7 1/4, 7.5 inches to play with. Here's what I need. I need you to tell me how many 7.5s equal those 2 12s. That's what you can get them to do. Because the longer the span this way, the taller they want the LVL. So I don't want to create new spaces, right? I don't want to create new spaces in the ceiling and create different heights in my ceilings. So I just asked them, I need more LVLs, but I want them to be only 7 1/4 is the smallest LVL you can get. G Lover in the house. What's up, G Lover? Richard Gamino. Is it the same to fireproof under basement stairs, double 5/8 sheetrock? I don't know. And here's why I don't know. I know that you have to from first floor to second floor if the second floor is a different unit than the first floor. From basement to first floor, I think that only applies if the first floor to the second, or if the basement to the first floor is an occupied unit. If it's not occupied space, then I don't believe you even need a sheetrock. But I would double check code, but I'm pretty sure that's right. Depends on where you are in the country too. But yeah, so it depends on that. Yep. Jan Vosterkov, thank you. What about the tenant's rents? Yep, great question. Will they be automatically transferred to my bank account once I provide my bank account at closing? No, they will not. All of that work is done outside of the closing. What you want to make sure that you're getting at your closing is something called an estoppel. I goof around, and because I, used to watch Hogan's Heroes and I thought it was a really funny show, far too insensitive subject matter nowadays. But I would always say you need an estoppel. That's what it's technically called. You can look them up online. But it's basically, they provide you the tenant in all the tenant information, and that they're current on their rent, no open issues, blah, blah, blah. But you can look up online what an estoppel is. You can ask that one be provided for closing. Usually that's something that people ask for as part of a contract when they're going to buy something, is you want to get a copy of an estoppel. But that will say, how they currently pay, all of that good stuff. Jan, what's really going to be important to you is the introduction letter in my course, because you can tell them how they're going to pay. It could be, hey, I need you to fill out this form because we do an ACH, and we go into your account and we grab it. If you're using we have 5 different ways people pay. One, they pay cash, and we give them a receipt. 2, they pay via ACH, which means it actually automatically comes out of their account. And that can be automatic with our property management software, or it can be something where they just do a push and they basically set up the payment and it automatically comes out of their account. That costs $2. The other thing that we do is we take Venmo. The other thing that we do is we take PayPal. And then we also do checks and money orders. So why wouldn't I make it as easy as possible for people to pay me? Just need to make it as easy as possible. That's it. Make it as easy as possible for people to pay me. That's what the goal always is. So hopefully that answers your question, Jan. But again, you're not going to, at best, you're going to get the estoppel at closing. You're not going to get any client. You're not going to get any tenant banking information. You're not going to get anything from them. At the closing table, you just need to ask, how do they currently pay their rent? One trick that I've done is if, so we have, tenants sometimes that, don't do online banking. They're Jerry Seinfeld's grandmother, and so everything is get up at 5:30 in the morning and then walk to the bank. Right. And that's fine. So what we do is we actually give them a stack of 12 self-addressed stamped envelopes with a sticker with our address on it, goes to our PO box, a return address on the top being theirs. And then we even put a stamp on them. I mean, how bad do you want rent on time? I want to make it easy. So if I know that they pay with check, guess what? I give them a stack of them. Prepaid envelopes. Here you go. Literally all you have to do is put it in the mailbox and raise that little flag. Or when you're driving past it, drop it in the box. I want to make it as easy as I can for my tenants to pay me. Easy, easy peasy. So Jan, look at that document that's in that in the course, the tenant introduction letter. You'll tell them how you get paid. But what you really need to do is when you post that, even when you get the estoppel, you're introducing yourself, right? This is your first contact with them as tenants. And then expect that you're going to get some things back where they're going to say, hey, here's 3 or 4 things that the old landlord never took care of. We'd love to see if you could fix those things. Now, there's going to be some people that are ornery and they expect you to replace the kitchen. No. And there's plenty that are just going to be like, yeah, you know what? The faucet trips. I want to fix that anyway. Or the tub leaks, or there's a leak above in my ceiling. It could be any number of little things, but there's usually tiny little things. I change them over and let them know, hey, want to change them over to digital keypad locks. Don't worry. They're not Wi-Fi enabled. We change them over to digital. The reason that we do that is if there's ever an emergency and you're not home, like we see smoke pouring out the window, we don't want to just break down the door, so we always let them know, hey, listen, this is for you. So if you lose a key, guess what? We don't hold you accountable for losing a key. All you have is a 4-digit key code. You get to pick it and you're the only one that has it. We have a maintenance code that we use. Let's see. This is so friggin' fun. I agree. Educating, smooth, and your group is full of awesome peeps. Thanks, Lookup. Yeah, there's great people in here. There just are. Great investors too. I mean, some of these guys, in all honesty, I don't know how much longer I'll be, acquiring assets. I'm 46, so I probably will keep on acquiring into my 50s, but maybe not. I don't know. I love it. I still really enjoy doing it. Oh, the fresco's so good. Let's see. Look up. Well, all right. You're a wealth of resource. You're welcome. Much appreciated. Happy to help. Buzztune, what is the conversation like when you're looking to replace someone like a CPA, attorney, property manager, if they're not elite? You've seen me. I keep it as nice as I can. As professional as I can. My CPA got me audited 3 times for the state. Got me audited 3 times for the state. So, I just said, hey, I mean, once, okay, twice, all right, but what are we doing that is still causing them to even look at an audit? Like, we're not aggressive at all on what we write off at all. We are very conservative. And it was just to the point of annoyance. And so I just had to have a conversation. I just said, listen, I had to go shopping first before I had that conversation with them. But I went shopping. I looked for about six months to a year, and found Bob Langworthy, Main Bean Counters. He's spectacular. We had a couple of conversations and I was like, yeah, this is the guy I want to move my assets to, or my financials of my assets. It was really important to me because I felt like I was leaving him a lot of money on the table. And I was leaving a lot of money on the table, tens of thousands of dollars I was leaving on the table. And that made me sad because I knew after the first audit, like I should have just told him, listen, it makes sense for us to part ways. And we didn't, and I didn't. That was bad on me. So that's the conversation I had with them. On a property manager, don't know, never. Actually, that's not true. I had one for a very short time and that did not go well. That did not go well. They rented out 2 units. They guarantee the tenants for 30 days. And at 35 days and 37 days, neither one of them paid the second month's rent. And I was like, you guys are bad at this. And I was like, first off, I said to them, I said, guys, it's a little difficult to take that I just paid you a month's fee and they paid their first month's rent and they didn't pay their second month's rent. Is there anything you guys are willing to do? They said, no. I said, sounds good. I am going to make sure that every person I talk to, I'm going to tell them exactly how bad real property management is. Yep. And for years, I told everybody, I just said, hey, listen, are you looking at hiring a property manager there? Yeah. Do you have any good names? I was like, no, I don't have any good names, but I do have one that I'd like to share my story. And I said, this is exactly what happened. This is exactly how it went. Both tenants didn't pay the second month's rent. Then I had to pay to evict them when the market was horrible. They got basically 3 months free rent. I got completely killed and it almost bankrupted me because at that time, that was during the Great Recession and I was a newer investor. And these guys weren't willing to help me. They weren't even willing to, I said, listen, forget about giving me a refund. Just place new tenants. Couldn't do it. Couldn't do it. Nope. Yeah. So, yep. That's how they got fired. And then attorney, I'm really careful firing an attorney. Did I fire an attorney? Oh yeah, I did. Yep. Went to court on a lease that attorney had written. And the judge was like, I have a problem with a number of things in this lease. Come on, really? I mean, you're an attorney. Well, come to find out that while that attorney might be an attorney, they weren't a landlord tenant attorney. Nope. They were an estate attorney. I didn't really realize because that's when I was like 22, 23 years old. I didn't really understand the difference. I was like, an attorney's an attorney. Wrong. Not even close. Richard Gamino. I live on the east side of the mountains. Oh, cool. From Deanna Mike. We'll check into it. Awesome. I love it. Just moved into the $10 million house. If someone checks on the place, there may be problems. Yeah, I bet. Jan, I'll be drilling the course all day today. Like, nice. Next week, I'm going to look at an 8-plex and a 32-plex near a university discussing seller financing. Looking forward to your student housing tips. Love it. Love it. That type of stuff doesn't really exist where I am. It's really hard to buy that stuff here. There's just not a lot of those types of assets. So I hope you absolutely crush it. I'm looking forward to the update. Laura Samaniego, do you require your tenant to buy renter's insurance and how do you make sure they maintain it through the lease? I don't require it, but I do recommend it. And I state it in the lease that it's recommended. And I make sure that I also state in the lease that none of their items or personal effects are covered by my policy. So it's pretty aggressive what we say in our lease. But yeah, that's how we do it. Let's see. And how do you check if they maintain it through the lease? If your lease requires it, you can actually send them a request. The other thing that you can do too is when they actually write it, I believe that you can be put as a notification if there's any policy updates or changes. You can do that. Yep. In my state, you can do that. Jan, I plan on buying and then having my kids take it over. I love that. Yeah, the Japanese have a great business culture. Majority of businesses are family run and many are at least 100 years old. That's the goal. I like that a lot. I mean, that's one of the things that we're doing for our kids. I don't know if the kids will end up running it. I really don't. You know, the funny thing is in America, usually it's the granddad builds it, the son makes it better, and the grandson blows it up. It's usually how it goes. But yeah. Landlord Odyssey, can you also verify how you avoid getting the fees from Venmo when getting payments? So you can either A, have them do it, B, have them do it in friends and family. Or C, make sure that they're not paying with a credit card, that they can only pay out of their balance, not with a credit card. And if you do see a fee, you just let them know, hey, I just saw this was a $45. Somebody said that. They're like, hey, I just paid with a credit card and it was like a $30 fee. I don't pay with a credit card. Yep. Cause I'm not taking $30 less so you can pay your rent. Nope. Cause over the course of a year, that's, $360. So no, but yeah, that's how I do it. Usually friends and family, because again, from our perspective, we still pay the taxes. We pay the taxes on it. And I don't know if it's because I can't remember if it's because it's a personal account and not a business account too, I think might be the difference. I think, but then you're limited. Then you're limited to how much money you can get. You can only transfer like, I think it's like 20 grand a week is all you can transfer. And yeah, I'm past that. So that's what we do is after we do a deposit and get somebody to pay their first month's rent, we try and get them on the portal. Yep. We don't want checks. We don't want money orders. We don't want cash. We try and get them on the portal and then just say, hey, yeah, cool. Go set this up. So that was one of the ways that we're going to expand our business is having someone take them through getting them in the portal so they can, send requests, maintenance requests, and all that sort of stuff. That's one of the things that we plan on doing as we continue to build the business is doing that. But yeah, Jan, there's a lot in there to go with. And I love the generational approach. I mean, that was the same thing for me. Previous generations to me, my family's broke. My family has no money. Yep. When some people pass, I'm going to get a bill. So yeah, our family lineage, that was one of the things where I said, well, I want to do something different. My great grandfather on my mom's side, Ukrainian, defected. And it took quite some time to get across all of Europe, out of Ukraine, to get across Europe, to then make it to America. And so I'm only second generation here. So I'm second gen. Every penny that he saved and he worked his tail off and he put all of his kids through college and amazing colleges at that. And then all of his kids saved, but 2 out of his 3 kids didn't have kids. And so only 1 of his kids had kids. And they only had 2 kids. And my mom was one of them. And my mom was a real estate broker, but she passed away early. She passed away in her early 50s. And then my uncle passed away in his late 50s. Which is weird because the entire family tree all around them, ancient. My grandpa lived to 94, 95. My grandmother lived to 95. Great grandparents lived to in their 90s. So yeah, it was kind of incredible. But yeah, that generational thing for us, that's why we have everything set up in a trust, and then protected by insurance. A lot of people are like, oh, people could sue you. Do you think having an LLC, they're not going to sue me? Of course they're going to sue me. Of course they are. Yeah. They're going to try and sue. And when they do, you just need to make sure you have good insurance and good attorneys, because I'm not just going to throw it over the fence to my insurance company and just go, cost of doing business, we'll write them a check for 10 grand. Oh, no, you won't. You're not writing my money. You think you're writing your money out, but I know that's not the truth. Yeah, that's a no. That is a no. All right. Any other questions before we call it a day? Look up. Wow. That's great super history you gave. Oh, thanks. You're just a foreigner like me. Yeah, it's true. It's true that work ethic that my great grandpa had, when he landed here, he didn't really know the language. And he was a hustler. He would go down to the paper factory where they would print the paper, the newspaper. He would buy it for half a penny and sell it for a penny. And then he did that long enough on street corners to where he turned it into, he bought a store, like a convenience store. He did that for a number of years. And then he sent all 3 of his kids to college, and he and his wife eventually, my great grandpa and great grandmother, they passed away. And then, and then the rest was history. And my grandparents were even hard. My grandfather wasn't born here. And he was hard, man. Like, I remember being like 5 years old and getting yelled at because I didn't finish the milk in my bowl. Lishka. So my mom would be like, hey, so you want to go visit your grandparents? No, I do not. I do not. Why is it all of my friends' grandparents are like awesome and fun to be around, and my grandparents are like, I'm hiding in the closet because I'm going to get yelled at for something. It's pretty funny. BuzzTune. Thanks, Matt. When you're having a tough time in the beginning as REI, what kept you in it, the resolve to keep going? So BuzzTune, that's a great question. It was really just the recognition of anything worth doing is hard. Like if it were super easy, everybody would do it. It's kind of hard. And there's a lot of people that are still trying to do it. Right. So you just have to resolve and purpose that you're going to be in this game and you're going to get it done. And that every failure that you have is opportunity. You know, every failure you have is opportunity. I almost went bankrupt 3 times. When the market shifted, boom. When I got hit with a lead order, boom. There were a bunch of things like that that were just super nasty that crushed me. And it was like, I was maxed out on my credit cards. I was maxed out on the HELOC. I was earning everything I could from work. Like nightmare, absolute nightmare, constant pressure. But I was like, okay, I just need to get through this next step. Okay, I need to get through just this next step. Okay, I got to get through just this next step. Okay, I got to get through this next step. And that's what it was. It was just the journey, one step at a time, one step, the next. It was, okay, I'm not worried about 10 deals from now. I'm worried about the next deal. I need to make sure the next deal is great. I need to make sure that my assets that I have now, that they're performing as much as possible, because I need a bank not to act like I have the plague when I go ask them for money. That was one of the big things. Yep. That was one of the big things. So that's what kept me going. Just resolve. Dion, what's up, buddy? Every time you hit the like button, the age gets its wings. I'm very excited. So that was the other thing too, is I had to make sure to get my air conditioning and heat fixed in my truck because I didn't want all the crying that I got out of Millennial Mike. So, and I know Dion wouldn't bellyache like that. But yeah, I finally got that fixed this week. So yeah. Let's see. HCH, looking forward to your boot camp at minimum long-term investment. Yeah, it really is. I mean, I'm telling you, that group there is fantastic. I know that every single person, the biggest concern that I had was really kind of twofold. A, do you feel like you learned a lot? Not just something, I learned a lot. And maybe change some of your mindsets and give you hope and got you excited about the next level of investing. Every person I felt had that. In fact, we asked them. And then the second thing was that it was value, that they felt like they got a lot of value out of it. That was the next thing for me. I wanted to make sure they got a lot of value out of it. And they did. So that was my 2 dreams. And then the third thing, which was kind of like an offshoot, this was the biggest stretch because I couldn't really control it. I could control that people got value out of the course or not by putting out good product. I could control that they felt like it was valuable because it taught them skills that they didn't have or made them better at things that they might not have considered. The third thing I couldn't really control. And that was that there would be created a camaraderie with their fellow boot campers. And that's what I'm most excited about, is that camaraderie that they created. They've already had follow-up meetings with each other, accountability partners, and now they speak the same language. And that's just awesome. So I'm so excited for the future. I think I did a count, and I want to say that the unit count total for that course, for that boot camp group, I want to say the total was right around 110 units, maybe 110, 120 units total for all 18 people combined. And that was with one person having a 60 unit portfolio. So yeah, that was one of the things I was very excited about. Anna K made it barely at the end. I will rewind and catch up the rest later. All good, Anna K. Hopefully you saw the live stream yesterday, Anna K. Look up. Yeah. It's a lonely road often too. It really is. Yeah. Do you realize how much I got tortured by my peers, colleagues, relatives, uh, tortured me. Oh, you gotta leave again and go do something landlordy. Yep, I do. I do. And it was for years. And now, when they come over and they swim in my pool, I eat my food, and have events at my house. Yeah, a little bit different, a little bit different. So yeah, it's lonely, but that's okay. That's okay. Surround yourself with like-minded people. If you're in the boot camp, that's going to happen. That's where I'm looking for those relationships to propel. I want to see you guys working with each other, talking to each other. So yeah, that's what I'm looking forward to. Landlord Odyssey, my family was well off, but the communists came around and took everything. Yep. Now it's the time for me to get it back and make sure it passes on. That's exactly right. It's exactly what happened to my family. Bolshevik rebellion back in 1917, 1918. That's when my great grandfather was successful in Ukraine. And he left everything behind. And yeah, I might have the years, a couple years off. Could never get straight answers. My grandfather, but it's because I think he was two. I think he was two when he came to the States. Yeah. Richard Gamino, my wife and I were talking about family longevity. Yep. I told her, look at a person's ears. If they're large, great chance they live a long life. My family, big ears, living into the 90s. How do those ears look? I don't have tiny ears. I have a big head, literally and figuratively speaking. Landlord Odyssey, the boot camp is worth making it a regular education bill. Oh, thank you, Landlord. Thanks, Reddy. I appreciate that. Yeah, the knowledge and connections you make are priceless. Yeah, I really think so, man. Like 18 other investors, and it's all live with me. Like if that's what you believe in, if that's what you believe in strategy wise, then yeah, it's like 22, 24. I think it was 24 hours. No, 20. I think we had 27 hours of footage that we recorded that we bookmark. That costs a fortune, but I wanted it to do it for you guys because I think that that's worth its weight in gold. It's bookmarked. You can literally go back through it and you go, didn't we talk about that one week? And I got to really see what that story was, because you're going to encounter it eventually. And when you do, worth its weight in gold. It's right there. I who party, LOL flex. Yeah, ain't that the truth? Yep. That is the truth too. Yeah, I mean, that's the other thing too, right? Is that, like, admittedly, I'm broken. I'm a little bit of an infant sometimes, more often than not. And so, yeah, if somebody's being difficult, like, okay, congratulations, like, you're a dick. Like, oh yeah, I'm off to do another landlord thing. Oh, well, they own you, I was like, yeah, I mean, when you're a CEO, like Dion and I talk about, turn the org chart upside down. Everybody might report to you, but you report to everybody. It's kind of how it goes. And so, yeah, I got tortured on that stuff, tortured. And now I have this one friend who will remain nameless, Mark, who busted my balls incessantly in the mid 2000s, incessantly. And he said, probably started saying about 3 years ago, maybe 4 years, he goes, I fucked up. I should have done it your way. I'll go, yep. I was like, but don't you worry. Every time I'm going to go on vacation after I'm retired, I'm taking you with me. He goes, taking me with you? I go, well, in memory, because you helped get me there when you were saying that I was an idiot. But I'll send you a postcard because I'll miss you. I'll miss the fact that you're not there with me. I'll send you a postcard. So I'm very excited because I have postcards that I will send him when I start traveling, just to remind him. Because now I'm on him and I'm like, you should be doing this now. You're not that old. You're in your 40s. You should be doing this now. But I got to admit, it's going to be kind of a fun flex. And completely just ball busting. Sorry, had to check, make sure it wasn't a contractor in need. Speaking of bootcamp connections, Denver and me are going to make regular videos on our story, and I just posted the first one. Oh, very cool. Yeah, dude, very awesome. Check out Landlord Odyssey on YouTube, guys. He made, I haven't seen the video, but I can only assume it's really good because he took my course and he was with me yesterday for 3 hours, and we had a good time. Good time. DIY cost seg appointment, called right on time, walked me through everything, answered all my questions. Awesome. Was it, they're great. Good. Guys, that's the feedback that I need. When they work with somebody like me, where I tell them flat out, hey, listen, I want to know the experience. If I have a bad experience, I won't recommend you. If I have a good experience, I want to help other vendors out or help other landlords out, and I will recommend you. And so that's something that I always want feedback on, something that I'm recommending. If your experience is different on a service, on a product, I want to know. Because something might have changed with the product, something might have changed with the service. I think Matt Bittner, I think, talked about American Flooring going out of business, I believe, or Matt Motley. I think it might have been Matt Motley saying that they were taking their last set of orders. That was news to me because I haven't ordered from them in a little bit. And so I'm on the search for the next one nationally. Guys, in the Lumberjack Bootcamp course, that's one of the things I shopped really hard for. But I would only do it on brands that I already use. And so the cabinets, as an example, Redion saw them yesterday, and I said, touch them, feel them, slam them. It was in the video I did yesterday where I showed him, no, throw it closed. I want people to get that experience. Throw it closed. I want you to see what it's like and see that it's good quality product. And that's why I pursued that relationship and that dealership franchise or whatever with that cabinet company. And it took me months to do, but we got it approved. And that's one of the things we're going to do for our Lumberjack boot campers. There's a fee, of course, because I'm not a kitchen designer. So I outsource that to an actual kitchen designer. And so I pay them to do it for you. And holy cow, is that design software expensive? It's thousands of dollars a year. But they design it. It's $99. You can buy that design through us. You can buy that design through somebody else. Again, only if you're in the boot camp. We can then make adjustments to the design, but I have a budget kitchen that I've made that is less than $3,000 landed. And it's slow closed doors, slow closed drawers, and it's all high-end cabinetry. I designed it. It's less than $3,000 landed, meaning it ships directly to your location. I don't touch it. But we do all the design, we do all the ordering, all the back and forth, but you actually see the price obviously before you get it. But you can do a nice kitchen for less than $3,000. And that's what I wanted to be able to offer you guys. Let's see. Laura Samaniego, my PM called me once while I was on vacation to verify rent increase. My friends rolled their eyes, reminded me how stressful that is. And that is the reason they won't buy RE. Yeah. Huh? Yep. What you do is, if you had like 3 friends or 4 friends, you take a vacation with all 4 of you, and then you do a separate vacation with each of the other 4. And then you're just like, yeah, I mean, like, you guys don't take, oh, that's right. You guys can't take 5 vacations a year. You don't work for yourselves. I mean, maybe when you're 65, we can, do some stuff together. Maybe. They're great. Okay, cool. Good. Yeah. Now got a meeting with CPA Bob. Very cool. Similar response. I'm looking forward to the meeting. Yeah. Like I said, Bob Langworthy's the best. He's great. It's great to work with. I can book separate time with him. It costs money because his time is worth money. It costs money, but I can do strategy calls with him. And I do probably I think we're actually due for one now that I think about it. Yeah, I think the last one I had was like May, April, May. Yeah, last one or no, April. No, it was May. Yeah, so I have one coming up with them I'll do in August. Strategy call for getting stuff ready for the end of the year. Landlord Odyssey, the cabinets were excellent. Corby is asking where you can sign up for the kitchen plans. Oh, great question. So if you go to, it's only in the Lumberjack Landlord boot camp specifically. The link is in there. So, and if you have problems with it, forgive me. We're just testing it out now, literally just testing it now. I had two people basically submitting stuff through our process where it has 2 videos showing you what you need to measure and give us context. Like, here's what you measure on the floor, then tell us where you're going to put your kitchen cabinet or where you're going to put your stove, where you're going to put your fridge, if you want a dishwasher or not, that sort of stuff. But then submit that stuff. And then that goes into an email box where you just can take pictures with your tape measure, take pictures, and then you submit those pictures and they go right into the designer's queue. Then the designer, it's typically 3 to 4 days right now to get them turned back around, but you'll get a 3D rendering and then you'll also get a price. And then if you guys say, yep, we love it, then from there you pay, it then gets ordered. And then you get sent the blueprint. You still have the 3D rendering, and then you still have the price list. But you basically get, but yeah, and then it's right. When we go to order it, we ask the factory, how far out are we? And usually you're between 10 and 14 days from it shipping from the factory, and then you're 3 to 7 days on getting it. So 3 weeks, you'll have your kitchens. I've gotten them as fast as 10 days, but I wouldn't count on that. I've also gotten them as slow as a month and a half, but that was during COVID. So yeah. But yeah, if you look at it, should be right there in the boot camp piece. But let me know the experience, because again, you'll it's $99 because again, I got to pay the designer. It's $99, but we then give you all the renderings. And if you choose not to buy the cabinets with us, totally fine. You can then use those renderings we gave you and go somewhere else and literally just hand them the blueprint, because we give you the blueprint and we give you the 3D rendering. So you can literally just hand it right to them. But yeah, if you touch and feel these cabinets, you will be amazed at the quality. The quality is just that good. That's why I was really pushy, because a lot of stuff, like, you can buy cheap stuff. You can buy cheap stuff that looks like the white shaker stuff I use. They have some cheap stuff out there. But this stuff is, like I said, rock solid. That's why I had ready on keep on playing with the drawers and the doors. He was like being nice and gentle. I was like, no, slam it. And he was like, kind of more pushing it shut. And I was like, no, slam it. So then I went over and I slammed it. And it's tough to get them slam. And then the drawers are tough too, but they're really good. Yeah, they're really good. That slow close for dramatic effect. So yeah, it's good. Very, very good. All right. Any last questions? Because if not, man, it's hot out, huh? Dear heavens, it's hot. Ushka. It's hot. It's really hot in my studio. And then tomorrow's Monday. Ugh. I have such a crazy busy day tomorrow with my real job. Okay. Well, I hope you guys have an absolutely fantastic rest of your week. If you are in my course and in the boot camp, I need you to vote, or don't vote, but respond with what time is good. Obviously, just like we had last time, we had 18 people in the last boot camp and the schedule really only worked for like 14 or 15 people, but that's what we went for. And so this time, if for some reason the time that we picked doesn't work for you, we'll get you into the next boot camp. You can also still be in this boot camp if you can't really attend. You still have access to all the stuff, that all the meetings. I really like it if you bought the boot camp. I really like it if you'd attend. So if for some reason that time just doesn't work, you can delay and wait for the next boot camp, because we will move that time around so we can account for different people's schedules. So that's what the plan is anyway. 105 in Lake Havasu City. Oh dear heavens. Look up, be gentle on yourselves. Yes, exactly. Corby, haven't been able to find the link. I'll try a different browser. Corby, let me yeah, let me find, let me find out. It should be in there. It should be in the boot camp. There should be a link only in the boot camp that you should be able to access. If you don't find it, just post that you couldn't find it, or send it into the support email for the course. Send it into the support email, and then they will be able to send you a link when they get in the office tomorrow, if you can't find it. And then I'll yell at them for not making it easy to find. So guys, I hope you have an absolutely fantastic week. Just crush it this week. If you're thinking about investing in real estate, continue to do the free research, do whatever, however you better qualify, because it might not be for you. But yeah, the feedback stays consistent. Would love to see you guys in the course. The course has been absolutely blowing up. It's been absolutely awesome. Really excited to start this next boot camp, and even more excited because those other live calls for the course with the banker, with the underwriter, with the electrician, those are going to be not boot camp. Those are going to be course. Those are going to be in the main course, where you'll be able to attend, and ask questions. We're only going to have 2 hours. I think it's 90-minute sessions, but those guys, those resources will be live and answering questions. So yeah. So guys, have an awesome week. As I always say, we try and create great content for you. And if not, tell us why it sucks. We want to make it better. And like I said, make it work for you guys. So hope you guys have a fantastic week. Hopefully I'll see a bunch of you in the course, and looking forward to getting the next boot camp started literally in the next, what is it? The 9th today. Yeah. I'm hoping to start literally in a couple weeks, like that last week of July. So we got to pick a time so we can get going. Want to make this thing happen and do some amazing stuff. So hope you guys are great. Have an awesome week. We'll talk to you guys again soon. Take care, everybody.